Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. So for those that browse the Overwatch subreddit and the competitive Overwatch subreddit, you may have seen a friend of ours, PvpTwitch, who's a streamer and a Junkrat player, put out some pretty good ideas on how to change the hero to make him much more balanced. You can find the thread in the description below, but I thought I'd talk to PvP myself, ask him about the changes that he's put forward, but ultimately look at Junkrat and find out what the major problems are with this hero, and whether the spam meta, I guess it would be called, is down to him and him alone. If there are any heroes that you want some tips or advice on, or maybe a professional opinion of the state of the meta with said hero, say for example Zenyatta or Mercy, then do let us know in the comments below. We'll be sure to make it happen. But let's get straight to today's video. So first things first, who are you, what is it that you do, and what is the problem with Junkrat right now?
I'm PvpTwitch. I used to be a console player, and I bought the game because I saw my friend playing Junkrat and I just really fell in love with it. And eventually after Season 3 I transitioned to PC and kind of made a name for myself playing Junkrat at the really high ranks.
With somebody that's doing so well on him, a lot of people complaining about him, it's quite interesting to hear that you think that he might need changes, actually.
Yeah, I played Junkrat since the beginning, so I've been through every stage of him being like really crappy when he used to damage himself to right now where he's like insane. A lot of people throw the word around of him being OP, which I really disagree with. I think he has the current state of his mines and Riptire are OP, but I think if you look at his kit overall, I think heroes like Genji, Tracer, and Soldier are generally much more OP as a whole. But the problem with Junkrat right now is that he's extremely cheesy, and what I mean by cheesy is that he's extremely easy to use to get high value out of. Anyone can play Junkrat and just make such an impact on the game just because it's easy to throw a mine and do 120 damage to 4 people and get Riptire in 5 seconds and then kill half their team, which is one of the things that I don't really like about his current state, is that, you know, he's just not really fun for the game because he's really annoying to play against, super easy to play, gets such high value. So I think they shouldn't just straight up nerf him. I think they should just change him slightly to make him more of a well-rounded, more well-balanced hero for the game and make it fun for everyone.
Yeah, and we've seen Blizzard do this already quite a lot, where they, you know, take with one hand, give with the other. But certainly you posted on Reddit some of your proposed changes. If you won't mind just running through them, just for people that may not have heard of what you've suggested, but mostly going over why. What are the main aspects that you would change, and why do you think it's so pivotal to making him much more balanced, I guess?
Yeah, so the first change I would recommend is changing the mines. Obviously 120 damage is insane when you have 2 mines, because he used to only have 1. And they just literally just gave him a bonus mine and just didn't even think about what the repercussions would be. So I would nerf the damage from 120 to 90. The main reason I'm lowering it so much is because I wanted to remove the double mine capability, where you could, like you see in Ana, you could just throw a mine, kill her, or throw a mine, hit her, and then throw another mine and kill her. I think that's just too cheesy. I feel like it shouldn't be a part of his kit to be able to do that. I mean, obviously you could do it to like Tracer, because Tracer doesn't have a lot of health, but that's Tracer. I also wanted to reduce the blast radius from 3 meters to 2 meters, and the reason I'm doing that is because changing that would add a lot more skill to the ability, because you have to be closer to the hero that you throw it to, and if you throw the mine into a mob of people, it's not going to hit their entire team and just bounce everyone up in the air and do a ton of damage. It's only going to hit a couple people, which is, I mean, more than you need, really. Changing that, I looked at upgrading the trap a little bit, and because well, currently trap does 80 damage, but I wanted to give it a buff to 110, which would make it so throwing a trap on the ground and putting a mine next to it would still be able to one-shot 200 HP targets when they run into it. Like, if you put it in a doorway across the map, I still feel like you should earn a kill by putting a well-placed trap and having a mine next to it, because you're using 2 abilities to kill 1 person. So upgrading the trap damage to 110, and currently the trap HP is 100. So I wanted to nerf that down to 60, just because I feel like it's just unneeded to have so much HP on a trap. If someone sees it, I feel like they should just be able to shoot it like once or twice and kill it, and not just sit there forever trying to whack at it and kill it. And then another change I recommended was the Riptire. They just straight up gave Riptire a 30% increase and infinite wall climbing, which made it pretty nuts for a 10-second duration. You could use it in your spawn after you die, and you can go all the way across the entire map, and people can't even hear it when it's in the air. So what I recommended was lowering the duration from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, and just slowing the movement speed down 10%, just because I feel like it'll make it more well balanced across all the ranks. Like at top 500, really good hit scans can kill the tire consistently. It's still really difficult, but I feel like at lower ranks like silver and plat, it's really hard for those McCree players at that rank to consistently kill a rip tire. So I think lowering the speed would help a lot. And then the other change I recommended was lowering the grenade damage, but I wasn't really sure if that'd be a good idea or not. So I scrapped that idea, and I saw someone else mention that lowering the number of bounces that grenades do until it blows up would be a really good idea, because it would take out some of the RNG aspect of quote-unquote spamming to get kills, you know what I mean?
I guess one of the main complaints about Junkrat, I spoke to Tavik about this as well, where that same old problem with Junkrat that's been the problem since day one, which is that consistent damage and getting it out. Are there any other like aspects of things that you would look at with changing Junkrat that you were thinking about? Say for example, upping his ultimate charge rate of getting his ultimate, how long it'd take to get his ultimate and stuff. The community are very good at coming up with some ideas, but it can be really difficult to find somebody that, you know, I played Junkrat to this level, I see your suggestion, but I don't think it's a good one.
Yeah, there's two different things. Well, a lot of people are saying like, why should Junkrat have the capability of being able to one-shot people, like throw a grenade and then finish them with a mine? And I feel like that's just a part of who he is. If you get really close to someone, I feel like you should be able to do that. And if you aren't able to do that, I feel like it would just plummet Junkrat completely, where he's not viable at all. Because that's kind of his powerhouse right now, is being able to burst people down. And if you take that away, then he's just going to be so inconsistent, like up close and in chokes. I mean, he'll be able to spam doorways and stuff and do a lot of damage, but as soon as the fight is actually into an open field, you're not going to you're not going to have the burst capability to really compare to a lot of other heroes. Like a Soldier 76 can hit people with bullets and then finish them off with a helix, and it's just not something I'd like Junkrat to have to go through if they made that change. Another change would be people were talking about maybe increasing the speed of the grenades and making it more like a Pharah. But I don't really know if that's the right direction they should go either, because it's not really the identity that Junkrat has. I don't feel like they should turn Junkrat into a ground Pharah, but again, I've never played TF2 because I was a console player, and people are saying that people have said on Reddit that Demo Man was pretty well balanced. I've never played the game, I've never even seen the hero, but maybe they could do something similar to what Demo Man was. I'm not really sure.
Right, yeah, because that's like the top comment on Reddit was just changing how the grenades work, that to make it feel much more like Demo Man, and a lot of people saying that it feels better playing Demo Man than it does Junkrat. Do you think that's kind of the problem then? Because it's sometimes, even when I'm playing Junkrat, for example, just in those situations where it's like, well, we need this hero, you're just spamming a choke, people are dying, and it often feels kind of dirty almost. Kind of like in the same way that Mercy does now and again, where it's just, you know, you walk with Valkyrie with Mercy and it's just a bit, we won that fight, but I felt like I didn't do much, I just held down left click and we won, kind of thing. Is that predominantly Junkrat's problem then? Not necessarily how balanced he is, but more that he doesn't feel very good to play.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem right now is that Junkrat just does it so well that it almost is just too easy. Like, I'll play a game at like 4,500 level, like there's top tier players in it, but it's Temple of Anubis and I'm playing Junkrat, so I just obliterate everyone because they can't even get through the choke. I hit every nade and every mine, and it's just, you know, like, it's not even fun to play tanks versus Junkrat because you can't do anything. Trying to play a Reinhardt or a Winston versus Junkrat is, okay, I got hit by 2 nades, now I have to run, I can't do anything. And I picked up Genji this season, just because I really wanted to expand another projectile hero, because I already played Pharah. And playing Genji versus Junkrat is like, you just change the hero. It's not even worth it. Just don't even play Genji, because 2 mines, it's insane. You can't do anything. So it's just super cheesy, and it's just not fun to play against, and it's really not rewarding to play to a certain extent. I mean, once the fight breaks out, that's what separates a good Junkrat from a bad Junkrat in the open field combat, but abusing his power in a choke is really kind of dull, you know what I mean?
As somebody that plays a lot of tanks as well, that you have played the likes of Reinhardt and stuff like that, speaking to people like Evil Toaster and all of these other people that play tanks, it's a pretty bad time to be playing any form of tank hero, even the ones that are strong like Arisa right now.
Yeah, I play a lot of main tanks. I actually used to be a main tank for my team on console. And main tanks have gone so downhill this season just because of all the... I would say it's primarily because of Zenyatta and Junkrat. If a main tank gets discorded, he can't do anything. And if he takes damage from nades, he can't do anything. And just tanks have just been getting so bullied lately that it's really... It's becoming meta where you don't even run a main tank in top 500. A lot of teams will run triple DPS with a Roadhog and just obliterate other teams with damage. Or they'll run D.Va and a Roadhog, or D.Va and a Zarya just off tanks, because those heroes are more like, they can do damage, but they also have the abilities to get themselves out. Like a Zarya can bubble and walk around a corner, or D.Va can Matrix and walk away. But a Reinhardt's just stuck there holding shield while it's getting obliterated by a bunch of damage. And same with Orisa. Orisa's actually spiked a lot this season because she has her shield, but she also has Fortify to stay alive even longer, where Reinhardt doesn't have that and Winston doesn't have that.
I think, speaking to other people about this, one thing that I haven't actually asked them is, how do you fix this? Is it just a case of nerfing the heroes that can put out a lot of spam like Junkrat, or like how do you go about fixing a problem across a whole role at this point?
I think they definitely need to do something about Junkrat. They need to lower the overall damage. That I think just touching the mine damage, lowering 2 mines by 30 damage will help the game overall a lot. A big problem that they need to look into is Zenyatta too. If you look at the Asian top 500 leaderboards, it's like top 10 is just filled with like 6 Zenyatta mains, and then you keep going and there's just Zen main, Zen main, Zen main. If you get someone that can master Zenyatta, it's so impactful because of Discord Orb. I feel like they're still overlooking the problem of that, and changing that would probably help main tanks a lot.
So when you run into these Junkrat players on Temple of Anubis, how do you beat it? As somebody that has been that Junkrat player for so long, what should players do to avoid and get past you? Because it often feels that it's so difficult to do, especially when it comes to those cheese comps. When you add in a Orisa or a Torbjorn or all of this other stuff, how do you get through it?
Well, a good tip is to play Junkrat yourself, obviously. But if you don't have a Junkrat yourself, what I always tell people is to don't play the chokes. It's okay to split up when you're playing against the Junkrat. What I always do is flank, because if you can get behind a team and force the Junkrat to turn around, then that means that the Junkrat's looking at you in a 1v1 situation, but that means your other 5 teammates aren't taking spam damage. And if you can just annoy them at all, if you can split their team up and get them in an open environment, or just get them to look different directions, it'll really help a lot. The problem most people make, especially on maps like Temple of Anubis, is they're like, alright guys, let's group up and let's all go left. And then you guys all get obliterated. And then everyone's like, alright, let's respawn and regroup and let's all go right. And then they get obliterated. And then they try and go middle and they get obliterated. But really the best thing you can do is probably just have 1 or 2 DPS just flank around and get behind them. Maybe go to their first spawn and then sneak around the back to point and shoot them in the back and pull them back to point. And then as that's happening, as they all turn around, everyone else can push forward. Just try and get creative and just avoid choke points as a group. I mean, obviously a tank and a healer are going to have to go through a choke, but splitting up the DPS will really help a lot. With
Season 8 coming up and some players going, I may want to play Junkrat, you know, because he's ridiculously strong right now. Would you recommend it? And are there any other heroes that you would recommend when it comes to picking up and playing, because they're just really strong right now?
For Season 8, I guess I'm not really sure. It depends if things change, but if things are in its current state, obviously people are going to be able to climb as Junkrat really easily. But other heroes that you can climb with, if you play Hitscan, McCree is very, very, very good. If you can get good at McCree, McCree is really prime right now. Also, for supports, like I said, Zenyatta. Zenyatta is actually a really impactful hero. The best thing you can do as a Zen main to climb is just use your headset. Make sure you're really vocal in calling out your discords, and just saying your discords isn't enough. Make sure that your teammates are actually hearing you and understanding that you're calling your Discord orbs and people are focusing them. And just make smart plays and try to reduce the bad plays, because that's the best way you can climb, is just take out all the bad plays that you're doing, make less mistakes, and try and make more opportunities for your team with your good plays. And
I guess finally then, any golden sort of advice that you can give when it comes to playing Junkrat, playing against Junkrat. We've gone over mistakes, but generally advice on how to go about it. But also, where can people see you play this little bit too strong but not OP hero that does kind of need nerfing?
Yeah, so if you guys, anyone watching this, if you like watching YouTube, I have my own YouTube channel. It's PvpTwitch, and I also have a stream on Twitch, which is PvpTwitch. I upload 7 videos a day, or 7 videos a week, and also stream 7 days a week. So if you can check out my content there, I have past broadcast videos they can look up and a bunch of guides. I think the most important thing that separate a regular Junkrat player from a better Junkrat player is the opportunities that you create and the different things that you do. The biggest tip that I always tell people is you should run your Riptire into the wall, because when you're doing that, it reduces the sound so the other team can't hear where it's coming from. And like we said before, Riptire lasts for 10 seconds. So you could call Riptire in, run it in the wall for 5 seconds, and the other team has no idea where it is. And then 5 seconds later, you bring it in and you get kills. And meanwhile, the other team either has to look at your team or they have to try and figure out where the Riptire is coming from. So different plays like that can create a lot of value for yourself when you're playing Junkrat.
And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. You can find all of PvP's details in the description below. And as I said at the start of the video, if you have any heroes that you would like us to go over with somebody like a streamer or a pro player when it comes to certain heroes, do let us know in the comments below. And until next time, take care, and we'll see you then.